dovremmo... Okay. Hi guys, and welcome to Stripes, the show. Stripes, the show is part of Stripes, the Bianconeri podcast, a podcast started 8-9 months ago by me and Tiago and hosted twice a week on Radio Bianconera, on Tuesday and Friday night. Why we start this project? We start this project because we love Juventus and we just love talking about Juventus. This is just the only and the simplest, most simple reason why we start this project. Tonight, we have the honor, and it's a true honor, honestly, because we have to have with us Guido Vaciago from Tuttosport. Guido Vaciago is a professional journalist since 1996, working all the time for Tuttosport, and he has covered Juventus since 2000. Honestly, I'm excited to have him here with us, and I think there is nobody, or just maybe a few people all around the world that have more knowledge than Guido about Juventus and what happened around Juventus world. So thank you, Guido, for being with us. This is the first time. Hopefully there are going to be more times, and I'm going to repeat myself. This is a honor. So thank you, Guido, for being with us.
And what I can do also, or I can speak and told you and tell you news about Juventus, but I can also teach you Piemontese language. And the first lesson is esagerumanen. And I repeat it for the pronunciation, for the right pronunciation. Pronunciation is esagerumanen. That means don't exaggerate, and is a typical expression of Torino. It used to be used, this kind of phrase by Camillo Benso Conte di Cavour. And so esagerumanen, I don't think that a lot of people can speak about Juventus. I cover Juventus since 21 years. Yes, that's true. Even if there is a little period when I was covering Inter between 2004 and 2006, because I go back to Milano, where I lived at the time, and so I was working for Tuttosport but covering Inter. But anyway, I cover Juventus since 2000, and so it's quite a long time. And but it seems to be yesterday that I've begun to write about the club and to speak with at the time Luciano Moggi. It's fun.
Wow.
I began with Luciano Moggi and Antonio Giraudo, and it was scary for me to talk with them because they are I remember that speaking with Luciano was very difficult. It was not. I speak with him once or twice a week, and he was always and with Giraudo even less. And Giraudo was always angry. It seems always very. It was very quick with by the telephone. If you were asking him something, it was really. He will not give you more than 2 minutes to ask him questions or to ask him news about or confirmation of some news. And 21 years later, it's funny because sometimes. I don't want to say, but sometimes Moggi calls me now, and sometimes I said to Moggi, Luciano, can I call you back in a couple of hours because now I don't have time. But Luciano, still a wise man about football. It's always a pleasure to speak with him about football because he's very wise. He has seen everything, and so even now he says. Wise stuff about Juventus, about football. You know how football goes, and so it's always interesting to speak with him.
He definitely looks like an interesting man to know, and I guess he looks like a funny guy. Honestly, my guy, funny man.
Yes, of course. Always joking, always playing, always pretend to be
the big boss,
the gangster, the big boss. Yes, but no, it's really funny. Have a lunch with him. It's a lot of laugh.
Okay, so I would have like 1,000 of questions about Moji, Giraldo, what happened during the years, but maybe in another episode. Okay, for now we need to focus more on the present, right? So tomorrow we have this big game. I consider the game tomorrow that Juventus is going to play against Verona in Stadio Bentegodi, I think is the most important game so far that Juventus had this year. Not because of the opponent, but because Juventus cannot afford to lose any more points if they want to get to Inter. So Verona was never an easy pitch for us, and I remember the 85 when Elchio scored without a shoe. I remember the 2000 when Camarata had the 2 goals against us and basically give the Scudetto to Latvia. Okay, even last year we lost 2-1. As Thiago was remembering yesterday, we allowed like Borini was, I forgot the last one, the second one, Verona to score. So I know that Thiago done his homework. You want to talk about the Verona, Thiago?
Actually, I heard a lot about the training. Of course, there's no much information given for the media and for fans, but actually, it seems so far that Verona will play like a 3-4-2-1 formation. And as we were in doubt in our last meeting, because Silvestri will probably be the starting player, the goalkeeper, and Magnani, Gunter, and there's that doubt about Lovato that we will probably be that man to play in the left side of the defense. But Faraoni, Tamezzi, Ilic, and Lazovic, or Di Marco, for me, it's that structure that maybe turn things possible for them to be fast, to have intensity in the side of the pitch, because Barak and Zaccagni behind Lasagna, it's a very interesting trio over there. And
yes,
the possibility, the intensity, and they can punish our defense, especially because we don't have a lot of players and alternatives. It's like something very interesting, considering Juric's side, which is usually a team that creates some problems, and especially there at Verona, it's very difficult task. And honestly, I'm very interested about this match, because even if it doesn't seem that important for some of the fans, it's so important right now, because we need to keep the track, we need the streak, and this is the most important one so far.
Yeah, we had a question from Daniel Jafari. He's a friend of the Juventus Club Los Angeles. So hi, Daniel. And I think that to have a chance to win the Scudetto, we need to win tomorrow. There is no other chance. So really, tomorrow is really a huge game for us. And Andrea, I know that you will give it like your opinion on how Juventus is going to play tomorrow. You think we're gonna have some surprise?
I mean, I wish I had an opinion. Actually, the only, to me, it's a question mark. No, like 90% of the game Juventus played this season, we don't really know how the team is going to approach to the opponent, to the team that is playing. So question mark for sure. It's easier to say who's not gonna play tomorrow, because we have a whole formation, a whole squad between injuries and Danilo out, and yes, I mean it depends on us. It still depends on us, even if we don't have many subs available in the bench. I think Kulu is gonna be a key player. I don't know what Pirlo is asking for him tomorrow, but Kulu is gonna be a key player, and the way
to score.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, probably. Probably, probably that might be the solution that makes something happen in his mind and gain a little bit of confidence.
So Guido,
Yes, quite simple, quite simple.
well, there was like a lot of talks today, and I think Pirlo is going to stay with the 4-4-2, okay? But there was even some talk that he was going to switch to a 3-4-1-2, okay, formation. I don't think.
But this is the kind of play that Pirlo uses this season is quite difficult to put it on paper, because basically when you are defending, when Juventus is defending, is always on 4-4-2, always. And then when they are attacking, the defense is 3-4-1-2, 3-5-2. It depends on what you want to how do you want to see them. But basically, the Juventus defend with 3 men, and usually there is 4 midfielder, but with 2 winger. One of the winger is one of the defender, and so maybe tomorrow will be Alexandro. Alexandro will go and become a winger with the Juventus attacking, and the other one is Chiesa, and so there is usually this kind of game, this kind of play become 3-2-5 sometimes, and it's not easy to understand. Well, to understand, it's not easy to put on paper because it's always changing. It depends on what Juventus is doing. If Juventus is defending, or if Juventus is attacking. If Juventus is attacking, it's not 4-4-2, because they have 3 defenders always. And so I expect to see tomorrow Dragusin on the right, and Alexandro on the left, and Demiral and De Ligt in the middle. And when Juventus is attacking, Alexandro will go ahead, and so become a winger or a midfielder. Anyway, he's going to attack, and De Ligt, Demiral, and Dragusin, they will go. They will move to the left. They will do some meter to the left, and so they 3. And then I think that something will be with Alexandro and Chiesa. Kulusevski will play in some between the lines of the defense of the Verona defense, and hopefully Cristiano will do the striker, because the problem now is that this kind of attacking game is not working well, because Juventus hasn't a striker, and so the box sometimes is empty.
Yep.
Or often is empty.
Most of the time.
because Ronaldo stay away from the box, because Kulusevski stay away from the box. And so that's why it's so important having a player like McKennie, because sometimes McKennie is the real Juventus striker, because he's the only one that goes in the box.
You can see the difference.
So Giulio is asking, given the fact that the midfield is our weak point, because right now, and it looked like we found like a solution with Artur Betancourt and McKennie, and then we know that what happened to Artur. So hopefully he's gonna be back soon. I don't know if you have any news about that, but it looked like they're trying to get him back for Lazio game for Porto. Maybe that was the last news, right? And what do you think is gonna be the best comp on midfielder this year?
with of course with Arthur, McKennie, and Bentancur. I mean the real Bentancur, not the cousin that is very similar to him, that sometimes go. because this year we understood that Bentancur has a twin that actually isn't good as him to play football, but is quite identical, and so he can go on the pitch. And but we know that is the twin sometimes, because it's not the same player as
I think we need to figure it out, though. We need to figure it out who is the bad twin and close it somewhere, and have him staying at least during the game. At least during the game.
No, well, I'm joking, but I'm really impressed on how Bentancur is playing. He's playing poor games this season. I remember last season was one of the best players of the season, but I think that is a growing up problem. Is still 24. Is not. Is not.
Still really young.
Is still quite young, and sometimes it happens that in a career of a player there is a season that doesn't go as you think that you can. It's not a progression, a natural progression. Sometimes there is a peak and then ups and down, and always Del Piero has some weak season, and we're talking about Del Piero. So why Bentancur cannot do the same? No, I think that the Bentancur will be an important, maybe even this season, but I'm sure that next season will return to be the key player for a Juventus midfielder.
I used to say that you need to figure out what you want to be, because I think he can be like the center midfielder, okay, even if sometimes he had the kind of like mistakes that we already know. But if you want to play more like a mezzala, like somebody thinks he can play, okay, he needs to learn how to score more goals, because he's scoring like 1-2 goals for season. The last goal I remember for me was probably like it was in Coppa Italia against Roma last January 2000. So he needs to, and I think he has every quality to be like a real solid midfielder, but he needs like to understand what you want to do. So do you see like Juventus and this is a question going like in the future, trying to use the transfer market the next June, if there is the possibility to switch some player in the midfield?
Well, it's a difficult question now, because usually in a normal situation, in normal life, at this point of the season, we begin to understand which will be the move on the transfer campaign. I remember in the last 5 or 6 years that this time between February and March, you begin to understand in which role they are going to search player, which player they are following, and so it begins. Now it's difficult, because it will be another strange transfer campaign without money. So you cannot choose the player you need, go and sign him, because there's no money, and so you have to find the player that you need and that the club is in want to swap a player with you. And so it's quite difficult to make transfer campaign like that. Or you have to sell a big player, but I don't think that Juventus want to sell a big player. I don't think that Juventus want to sell, for example, De Ligt or Demiral or player, because if you go and try to sell De Ligt, maybe you will find someone who can pay for him. But be careful, because I know the situation of Barcelona, that is economical struggling. Is struggling from economical point of view, and Real Madrid is not much better than Barcelona, and I think that just Bayern Munich, Paris Saint-Germain, and Manchester City are doing well at the moment, and maybe that. By the way, I just read the news. Is Demiral a big player? Yes, it is. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Absolutely.
Okay.
It will be one of the biggest central defender in the next 5 years.
Wow.
I know, Matteo. For example, this is a very nice topic, because if we considering this tactical formation where the side back, one of them go and return, the midfielder that goes in deep the defenders to play a different role, another midfielder that goes wide, water to play between the lines. Those roles are not easy to do, and there are players like McKennie that need to adapt to a new club, to a new country, to a new league, and yet be so available to do this kind of job, which is not easy. If you considering how young Kulusevski is, and he's a player that playing sometimes as a winger, as a midfielder, as a playmaker up front, between the lines, as a striker, it's so difficult. So right now, it seems that this season we have some criticism around those players, and this probation that fans are asking who is suitable to be sold in the transfer market session. It's quite difficult, but right now this is a good moment, and having this possibility, Bentancur is another player that
and going
asking about.
Go to Bentancur. We are Daniel asking, is there any chance Juventus sell Bentancur? And I guess it depends if the Juventus solve the issue with Boca Juniors, because we know I think there is a different rumors about that.
It's solved. No, well,
it has been solved.
Juventus and Boca Juniors has an agreement, and Juventus is paying
2 million per year for the next 5 or 6 years.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, so they closed the deal. Okay, so they closed the deal. Yeah, okay.
So Juventus will pay. As you said, maybe it's 2 million a year for
I think
4 years.
5 or 5. Yeah, something like that.
But if I can search on my archive I have the agreement, the written agreement.
Okay.
To be more precise, but the thing is that now Juventus, if Juventus will sell Bentancur, will gain all the money, will keep all the money.
Juventus plus Valenza.
Yes, but be careful to think that you can go and sell Bentancur for a lot of money, because the question that everybody has to ask himself, thinking about the next transfer campaign, is who will pay for that player?
Who got the money?
Who got the money? I mean, we just said that 3 clubs basically is the club that will surely have the money: Bayern Munich, Manchester City, Paris Saint-Germain. Will these 3 clubs sign Bentancur? I don't think so.
No.
So, which other club could be interested in Bentancur? not I think that is a top player, is a top club player, but a top club not includes the category of top clubs in this particular historical moment, includes also clubs that don't have money to sign Bentancur. And so if you will try, I don't think that Juventus, by the way, I don't think that Juventus want to sell Bentancur. We're just supposing, but supposing that that Juventus want to sell Bentancur, the problem is that maybe can find a club that's ready to swap Bentancur with another Bentancur, basically.
Yeah.
Like Juventus did it last summer with Pjanic and Artur. The same stuff. Pjanic was a bigger player than Bentancur a year ago, and the exchange between Artur and Pjanic, in my opinion, is basically the same. Artur is younger. This is a point for Juventus. Pjanic was more experienced and maybe was more fit than Artur. But
Guido, you were saying you hope to see Bentancur coming back to the real Bentancur, and it's probably a growing up problem. Now I'm asking you, do you think there is an actual problem of character in the new generation of players compared to the previous generation? Because I'm thinking to Bentancur, but we have been talking about this topic also with Rugani, that we were expecting to become like a great defender, and then for some reason didn't happen. Caldara, we never actually knew what happened there, but something didn't go in the right way. And I can keep going with I don't know, Cancelo, great skills, great
Dybala,
Dybala is it's a good call.
Dangerous topic. Dangerous topic.
It's a dangerous topic.
Yeah, but
I was going there.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think it's only a problem of character. It's also the pressure on these players that have been growing and growing more, because with the media system growing up, of course they're self-conscious more than they used to be before, I guess.
Well, in the meantime, I search for the Juventus and Boca Juniors agreement is 2 million for 8 years.
8 years.
So
oh, okay.
8 years. So it's
60 million.
60 millions, because
a lot of money for Boca Juniors. I'll tell you that.
Yes, but
Argentina entirely.
My two best friends here are from Argentina and Boca Junior fans, so they told me that that kind of money are huge money for them. So
yes, I know. I think that now is a big money even for Europe, because when they signed the agreement, the value of Bentancur, you can think that in the agreement was signed in 2019, and in 2019 you can basically foresee for Bentancur a value of 40 million, 50 million in a couple of years, given the price given the money that football was generating at the time. So Juventus would have to give the half of the price of Bentancur to Boca Juniors. That means that selling Bentancur at 50 million euro, Boca Juniors would have 25 million. Yep. And so 16 million in 8 years, so very, very slowly payment. it was a good deal for both, for Juventus and Boca Juniors. Now I don't think that Bentancur could be paid. The fee of Bentancur could be more than the 30 million. So the half of 30 million is 15, and so now Boca Juniors is gaining more by that deal. And answering the Andrea, what can I say is that at the age of Demiral, for example, Chiellini was playing in Serie B. At the age of Kulusevski, Pirlo was playing between Regina and Brescia. So now we have very young players that are facing a very high pressure, as you said, and so I think that it is a trial that they have to pass. I think that Juventus. That there's a big difference between Rugani and Kulusevski, between Rugani and De Ligt. You see that there are some young players in which you see the personality, you see a strong personality, a strong capability to wear the Juventus shirt, and you understood after a couple of seasons that Rugani hasn't this personality. So I think that Juventus now has De Ligt, Demiral, Bentancur, Chiesa, McKennie, Kulusevski, all of them. I think that
even Rabiot.
Even Rabiot. That I think that Juventus have this bunch of players that will be important. They will be great players in the next 3 or 4 years. Maybe someone will not be him, because you never know. But they all have the right. All the points that you need to have to be a big player. I especially love Chiesa, and I love him because of Chiellini. Because of Chiellini told me I don't remember, a couple of years, 1 year or 2 years ago, we were talking about players. We were talking about young Italian players, and he said to me, Juventus has to sign Chiesa. And he was
that was a year ago. That was 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Okay.
Juventus has to sign Chiesa. Well, why? And why do you think so, Giorgio? And he said, he has the right, is the right mentality, is the right mind. And I think that Chiesa is a little Chiellini. There's some similarities between Chiesa and Chiellini. They're both a player that are very, very strong-minded. They have a very strong will to succeed, and they have the attitude. And they know that without work, they are the kind that the no pain, no gain kind of player. They know that they need to work on the training very hard. They need to improve, and they know that improving is just a matter of working. And they have a working attitude, that's a working ethic that is really strong. And I see the same attitude that I've seen in Chiellini along these 15 years. I noticed that Chiesa has quite the same attitude and could be a player like Chiellini, very serious, very focused, committed. For example, he started with a kind of playing not so functional to the Pirlo's game, and he immediately in a couple of months begin to play without keeping the ball too much. He understands very quickly. And it's not a problem for him to change his habits on the pitch, and so I think that this kind of player is the kind of player that Juventus
hopefully
needs,
finger crossed.
because this is the kind of player that have built the 9 Scudetto cycle.
So, but in general, isn't true that all the winning Juventus were actually like 1994, 1995, 1996, 2001, 2002. They were all it was a really committed team.
The Juventus DNA going back to Furino.
Juventus DNA. That's
going back to
Furino.
Yes, because I'm a little bit older than you. I can say also 80, 81, 81, 82, where Zoff, Gentile, Cabrini, Furino, Brio, Scirea, Causio, Tardelli, Rossi, Bredi, Bettega.
Look, sorry if I interrupt you, because I know Andrea needs to leave us like in 10 minutes. So before having the next topic, and we need to talk about this now because it's really actual, naturally, and kind of Thiago just introduced it. But I know, Andrea, tomorrow you're gonna have your watch party in San Diego with your club. Okay, hopefully it will be a nice day. But
everybody invited.
Thank you.
I'll be in Bentegodi, so we can from Bentegodi to San Diego.
Video call.
You know what? I've been in Bentegodi, I think 4 or 5 times, and never to watch Juventus. That's like a fun part. And
by the way, an awful stadium. It's old and
I hate it. Honestly, I hate it. I was used to live close, 1 hour away from there, and so we used to go there watch Verona because one of my best friends is a Verona fan. So we went to watch Chievo 3 or 4 times, and to watch Juventus actually. So it's funny, and yes, an old stadium, really far from the pitch. But no, I had to ask Andrea, because I wanna know his opinion, because Andrea is new to this team, so I know what Thiago thinks. I know what Thiago knows what I think, but we need to talk about Dybala, okay? And so I know.
People
it's a dangerous topic
about it.
Yeah,
people start
it's a dangerous topic.
Oh my god!
Because look, I think Dybala is the most talented player in Juventus roster, maybe in entire Serie A. Okay, and but is going to be 20 years old. So at one point, you are what you are. I think. Okay, so you're still an exceptional player, but you're not going to be what we thought you were going to be, okay? That's my take on him. So yes, he's going to probably play in a month, or no, I hope sooner than that. So I don't know what you think about him, Andrea, before that's a great question.
I'm a Juventus supporter. So any player wearing Juventus jersey, for me, I love them just because of that. And I love Dybala too. But I got to say, if the famous offer that can arrive because nobody has the cash right now and nobody is able to make an offer for a big player. If that offers arrives and Juventus decide to sell Dybala, I wouldn't be so upset like I would be with Bentancur, because after all these years, I feel Dybala already ended his trial, and he didn't do the jump that we were expecting him to do. So that's what I think. I hope he's gonna find his best shape, start to score goals and be important for us. But as like the timer right now, it's very possible that with one offer, Dybala goes.
So Guido, is he gonna renew or is gonna be sold?
No, well, I think that the renewal of the contract is quite close, but I don't think that anybody could pay for him in the next transfer campaign. As we said before, for Bentancur, the same thing is we can say for Dybala, especially if will not play too much game before the end of the season, because now Dybala is a great question mark for everybody. First of all, for Juventus, but even for any other clubs. And so I don't think that the offer Andrea is talking about will arrive in any form. Apart, maybe the only way could be a swap with Paul Pogba. Because
sorry, I'm a fan.
They are no, well, yes, and it's just I'm just suppose it's just an hypothesis. It's just an hypothesis. No, well, no, it's an hypothesis. What I think is that very similar situation. Pogba is a problem for Manchester United.
Right.
Pogba is the same age of Dybala, and Pogba has a contract that will expire in 2022, like Dybala. So the two clubs could swap
the player overpricing them.
Their problems. Dybala is not a problem for Juventus now, but it could be a problem for Juventus in the next couple of months if for example, if he will not sign the contract. Yep. And so at the end of the season it could be a possibility, but a couple of two summers ago, we all know that Dybala didn't go to United. It was a close deal, the swap between Dybala and Lukaku, and it was a really close deal. I can say to you that we were talking with Lukaku's agent, and basically we were arranging for having an interview with him. Wow. As a Juventus player, and the agent said, well, we have to ask, but the matter was that he was
done.
It was quite sure that Lukaku will sign for Juventus, but at the end we all know what Dybala decided, and Dybala decided to stay and doesn't go to, and he didn't go to Manchester. So now I don't know what if Dybala has changed his mind, if Dybala could accept an offer like that. And so what I think is that Dybala will sign the new contract with Juventus, and then they will decide together what to do. But I think that Dybala will stay in Juventus. It's more. I think that it's more the possibility that Dybala will go are few at the moment. That Dybala will be sold. It's few at the moment. I think that Dybala will stay, and Dybala could be a player important for Juventus, but could be also a problem for Juventus. If Dybala will return in a couple of weeks, I think that in a couple of weeks he could come back and come back and and return to be the player we used to see in the last years. Juventus could have more chances to win the title, because 10 goals of Dybala.
Well, we need Dybala,
10 goals.
because
10 goals of Dybala.
we don't have anybody else. So
I give you 10 goals of Dybala. Try to figure if Dybala was fit this season, and I give you 10 goals of Dybala to spend around the season.
No,
so
yeah,
far.
you're right. Well, yeah, of course.
I only need 3 games.
Crotone, Benevento, Fiorentina.
Esatto. Correct.
It is 7 points more, and
we will be there.
Yes. So Dybala is important for Juventus, but the problem is, who is Dybala now? Is the player that scores 2 goals against Barcelona, that scores against Tottenham Hotspur in Wembley, is the player that even in last year played a couple of key matches along the season. The 2 matches against Inter, for example, the first 4 or 5 matches after the lockdown.
Bologna,
and,
Torino, Genoa,
Lecce, Genoa.
You know,
And
Thiago.
no, go on.
Yeah, no, go, Thiago. Go, Thiago. I know you want to say something.
No, I mean, Dybala, it's a nice resume of the topic so far, because if you consider that we were talking about contract, about how to be fit, about money, about injuries, and about mentally how it's in the pitch, because sometimes it seems that your agent and who is behind, who is managing your career makes a huge difference of what happens on the pitch. Because Dybala had problems, as we know, as we heard about, and this contract renew. And honestly, the possibility to see Pogba, his beloved friend, alongside him on the pitch and touring again, sometimes it's difficult to understand if it's possible to see Dybala accepting Manchester United easily, because considering that they have problems as well. And if your friend is trying to flee from there, why? There is a reason. So it's easier to see Pogba coming than Dybala arriving at Manchester, in my personal opinion.
No, but you're right, Thiago. You're right. And I was just saying that. I saying that on the paper, it could be the perfect move for both clubs, because maybe Pogba in Torino will arise again as the player he used to be when he was in Juventus, and so Pogba will come back to his great form, and Dybala maybe in Manchester could find new ambitions, new something new for his career, and return to be the player he used to be. So on the paper, it is all perfect, but then there is the reality, and sometimes the reality is the worst enemy for the for the dream of a transfer campaign. And so I think that it could be that's why I said that Dybala will stay, because I don't, at the moment, maybe in the next couple of months everything will change, and then we will be here to explain what's happening on Dybala. But given the situation, I don't see any any clubs for Dybala, and I don't think any solution for Dybala, but the renewing of his contract with Juventus, and he's staying in Juventus for the next season.
So I have the last topic, okay. And first I have a question because it's a rumors going on the numerous, several chats about Juventus all around the world, okay. There is this rumor, just need a yes or no, okay. Is it true that Pirlo doesn't love Dybala?
I don't think that a coach a coach can love or not love a player, especially if he's a so talented player, because we are talking about a very talented player.
Of course.
I think that Pirlo, maybe, because I never spoke with him about that, and so I really don't know what he think about Dybala. Knowing the mentality of Pirlo, the way Pirlo think, and the way Pirlo think about football and live football, maybe Dybala hasn't at the moment show the personality that Pirlo want to see by a Juventus player.
Okay.
The will to succeed, the will to be the player you are. I mean, Pirlo know how much talented is Dybala, and Pirlo want to see that talent on the pitch.
Oh, yeah.
So
we wanted to, honestly.
Yes. So I don't think that Pirlo hate Dybala or doesn't love Dybala or doesn't like Dybala. He simply know that now for him Dybala is a problem, and he wants that Dybala for him is become a solution.
Okay,
that's it.
So the last topic, and it's like a trending topic all around the Juventus war. I was listening to Radio Bianconera, and my friend Marco Spadavecchi, I don't know if he's listening. Marco, hi, and thank you for all your help. Okay, they were talking about because they're making like comparing last year roster with this year roster, okay, and there were people say that last year roster was more talented or less talented that year. I think that this year roster is more talented than last year talented, but a team is not made by the addition of 1 + 1 + 1. There is much more around the team. So we have like a new coach with young player, okay, that need to understand what is Juventus, what means playing for Juventus, okay. So because, for example, everybody was criticizing last year Matuidi, for example. Matuidi was an exceptional player, okay, for a mentally focused all the time. He knew what he was doing. He wasn't probably technically so fit like somebody else, but I knew what he was doing. This year we have like Kulusevski that I absolutely love. I think he's going to be the next great thing in Juventus, okay, but he's 20 years old. So there is a lot about this conversation that Juventus should win the 10 Scudetti in a row because they have Pirlo, and they have like acquired a lot of new player with a lot of talent. And I disagree with that, honestly, because as I said, it's a work in progress, and without preseason and without the experience that Pirlo doesn't have yet, okay, and all the injury that happened like in the last month, okay, and it's not easy. So maybe they're going to surprise us, but I keep my expectation low for this year.
Well, you know that in today's press conference, Pirlo said that Scudetto is an obligation, is a sort of moral duty for Juventus, and so I think that you don't have to keep your expectation low because this is not the Juventini's way to think.
No, okay,
I understand.
I'm not going to be mad. I'm not going to be mad if we don't win this Scudetto.
No, of course. I understood your what have you said, and I agree with you. It's always difficult. I think it's quite impossible to say which rooster is stronger, because you cannot compare two seasons, because too much factor and too much difference between the two seasons. Last season, 1920, half of the 1920 was played in a normal situation.
Yep.
And just half, maybe less than half of the last season was played in the COVID situation.
Mhm.
This season is all played in COVID situation, and as you said, there was no pre-season, there was no friendly game, no friendly games, and the most important things that you said, that the strong, you cannot measure the strong of a rooster adding the single talent
Yep.
of every single player, because it's not. This is Football Manager.
Mm.
Not reality. The reality is influenced by humanity, and I'm sure that Kulusevski is a better player, has better fit than Matuidi, but right now Matuidi last year was an incredible. He put his incredible experience on the pitch, and he know exactly what he has to do every time he has to do something. And I know that it's not very aesthetic to see.
It's not technically skilled. Yeah, exactly.
Yes, it's
Here,
not
Khedira
skilled.
was not recognized.
What, Thiago?
Khedira and Matuidi were not recognized for their abilities to play, and that's a very good sign.
I think I'm the biggest Khedira lover, I think, probably in the West Hemisphere, the West world. I think I was in love with Khedira. So
well, Khedira has too much issues with his health, because and
muscles.
Unfortunately for him, these issues has become reason for a reason for a lot of people to hate him, because in the last two seasons it was he wasn't a player for Juventus, even if he earns the money that Juventus of his contract. But I remember last summer, Khedira was on the transfers list, and Paratici want to sell him.
And Sarri
was trying to sell him, and Sarri saw him in a couple of training sessions, and said, no, you don't have to sell this kind of player. Of course, Sarri couldn't know at the moment that he will not play half of the season for his health issues. But he fell in love with Khedira in just a couple of training sessions, and that is the same thing that happens with. That happened with Allegri, and happened with Mourinho when Khedira was playing in Real Madrid, and before in Bayern Munich. Khedira is a really important player, every is the coach player in every club he has played. He has become the favorite player of the coach because he's so much intelligent. He think about football in a very intelligent way, and so yes, Khedira was not. As Thiago said, was not recognized enough for what he has done in Juventus.
Andrea, I know that you need to go, baby. Right now, you have any question before leaving?
Well, no, I'm just agreeing with Thiago and Guido, and with Thiago, no, with you never, you know. I don't like you. No, but Khedira and Matuidi as well. Because Matuidi, one of the most sacrificing on the pitch, always running from the first minute to the last minute. And what I want to say, I'm an orphan of Paul Pogba. We already declared that. And I think without
we are brother in that.
No, I think without Matuidi, we would have missed the Paul Pogba more than we already done.
That happens because we are spoiled. We are spoiled as fans, you know.
I know.
Well, it's interesting because right now, you know what, you know, we live I live in the United States, Andrea as well, okay. And when we speak about Scudetto right now, it looks like right now Scudetto is a must win for us, okay. While when we were winning the last 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years, we just won Scudetto. Okay, so I hate this Juventus fan. Today's Juventus because we are spoiled. Okay, of course we didn't win the Champions League, but there is several reasons.
They are Inter supporters underneath.
No, but no, I grew up in the 80s, like you, Andrea, I guess. And when I was going to my elementary school and high school, Juventus never won. Because I remember the first Scudetto, 85-86, the last Scudetto with Trapattoni, and then there was the 10-year span till like the first leap. We never won the Scudetto. So when I went to school, I was basically Milan fan, Inter fan, Napoli fan. Everybody was celebrating something. And one of the biggest victory I remember is the Coppa Italia we won in 1990. The goal with Gallia. I remember watching the game with my friends from elementary. Watching the game, we were going crazy. We went out on the street celebrating.
25 of April.
Exactly. First game in the new San Siro, right? Terrible surface, and Gallia scored a goal. I still remember. It was one of the biggest, and it was in Italy and a Coppa Italia.
Well, in the same year, Juventus won the Coppa UEFA.
The Coppa UEFA
against Fiorentina in Avellino.
Yeah.
And yes, I agree with you. And in Torino is even worse. In Italy, by the way, is even worse. Juventus fan are really critical now. I think that you have the right to be critical.
Of course,
if you are a fan. You have the right. Is written on the constitution of the fan, and they could be critical. What I don't understand is why they are so angry. Why they are so. It seems sometimes they seem to me like fans that they don't win a trophy since 20 years, and so this growing rage is a long time rage because they don't see a trophy since 2020. Yes, for a while, and they just won the how much 18 I know I don't know how much the trophy as the Agnelli president has won.
And, it's unbelievable. It's what we did in the last 9 years. It's we will realize when the seventh.
Well, it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen anymore. And well, to quote like somebody else more smart than me, and Allegri make you cry when he comes and when he leaves. So okay, so well, look, well, we already passed.
I
1 hour
have to
here,
go.
so-
I have to go, Matteo.
Yeah, no, okay. Yeah,
Ciao, Guido.
I'm wrapping up. So thank you again. So I hope you guys you like it, you enjoyed it. Hopefully, we're gonna do this again. I guess I'm shooting for next Friday, maybe. Okay, if you like it, leave it like a feedback, leave a like or whatever you ask. So thank you guys, and let's do it for
That's a honor.
and okay.
Yeah.